Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. In the local scene, the Bureau of Soils and Water Management presented the results of its field work on updated soil resource information on May 7 at the Albay Provincial Agricultural Office in Kamalig, Albay. This presentation was part of the exit conference on field work activities for the updating and enhancement of conventional soil resource information for strategic agricultural development and investment planning. In addition to the presentation, the meeting also served as a platform for knowledge sharing, output validation, and discussion. Moreover, the next steps for integrating the updated soil information into Albay's strategic planning and agricultural development initiatives were also discussed. The presentation was led by the BSWM Implementation Team Soil Survey Division, headed by Sandy B. Abiad, Senior Agriculturist and Project Focal Person, who presented the results of the field work alongside his team members John Dave E. Pacariam, Eugene A. Bungaling, Mr. Desari C.J. E. De La Cruz, and Mr. Jason P. Nicanor. The activity was supported by APAO, led by Provincial Agriculturist Cheryl O. Ribeta, along with the Administrative Officer 4, Maria Mercedes Verga, Agriculturist 2, Rochelle Adivino, and Dalmacio Orpiana, Administrative Officer 4, Rian Nieves, Agricultural Technologist Mark Breeze, and Technical Staff Mr. Carl Irvin Ulavario. In other story, the Albay Provincial Health Office held a reorientation session focused on implementing the Special Health Fund. This activity aimed to provide clear and specific guidelines regarding the establishment and management of the Special Health Fund, ensuring the efficient and effective use of healthcare resources. Key participants attended the orientation, including members of the Local Finance Committee and the Management Support Unit of the Provincial Government of Albay. Representatives from the Department of Health Bicol Center for Health Development, the Provincial Department of Health Office, and PhilHealth also joined the reorientation, offering valuable insights and expertise to the discussions. The reorientation seeks to strengthen the healthcare systems and ensure that funds are allocated strategically to meet the health needs of the residents of Albay. In the national scene, the prosecution has submitted new evidence against former President Rodrigo Duterte to the International Criminal Court, raising the total number of pieces of evidence to 320 that will be presented in the pre-trial stage in September. A document indicated that lead prosecutor Karim Khan has submitted 139 additional pieces of evidence against Duterte, including papers that formed the basis for the arrest warrant. The new evidence was organized into 4 categories: contextual elements, modes of liability, murder or murders during Duterte's tenure as mayor, and murders conducted under barangay clearance operations during his presidency. The 139 items were part of the prosecution's second disclosure of evidence, following an initial disclosure that accounted for 181 items. The evidence seeks to strengthen the case against Duterte, portraying him as an indirect co-perpetrator in the deadly war on drugs, in preparation for the confirmation of charges hearing on September 23, which would pave the way for full trial. The prosecution has until July 1 to complete the disclosure of its evidence. In other story, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has mandated an investigation into the alleged dredging operations carried out by Chinese nationals in the disputed waters of the West Philippine Sea. This follows reports from the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, NICA, to Senate Special Committee on Philippine Maritime and Admiralty Zones regarding suspected illegal activities across the nation. According to NICA, Deputy Director General Ashley Asadillo, Chinese nationals were reportedly involved in dredging activities along the country's coastal areas, including Manila Bay, and in extracting sand in various municipalities. Palace Press Officer Under Secretary Claire Castro confirmed that the matter had come to the President's attention. After receiving the information, the President ordered a comprehensive investigation, Castro stated, adding that an inquiry was already in progress. In other news, the Philippine Ports Authority has prioritized the shipping of present count optical scan machines and ballots for the May 12 elections. Eunice Monte, the spokesperson for the PPA, has assured the public of their full support for the Commission on Elections ahead of the 2025 elections. This support includes providing port access and priority loading and unloading for the election cargo, as well as the coordinating with shipping lines and port terminal operators to ensure a smooth and timely process for loading and unloading equipment. The official also noted that the PPA will offer logistical coordination and assistance to the COMELEC, along with the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police, especially in island and remote areas. The PPA will have personnel on standby to address any malfunctions or emergencies at the port and will ensure the security of cargo, fulfilling its mandate to maintain safe and efficient port operations. And in the news outside the country, Russia and Ukraine exchanged drone strikes that resulted in 2 deaths in Kyiv and prompted Moscow to close major airports just hours before the arrival of foreign leaders. The Kremlin has declared a unilateral 3-day truce to align with its grand military parade in Red Square, commemorating 80 years since the defeat of Nazi government. China's President Xi Jinping and Brazil's Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva are among the 29 foreign leaders expected in Moscow for the event, which has become Russia's most significant public holiday under President Vladimir Putin. Kyiv has dismissed Putin's directive to its troops to pause their attacks as a ploy aimed at safeguarding the parade rather than a sincere effort for peace. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is advocating for an unconditional 30-day ceasefire, a proposal backed by United States President Donald Trump and previously rejected by Putin. Just hours before Putin's directive was to take effect, Moscow launched drone strikes across Ukraine. And finally, in the news outside the country, India and Pakistan exchanged heavy fire along their contested border after New Delhi launched deadly missile strikes against its arch rival, marking the worst violence between the nuclear-armed neighbors in 2 decades. At least 34 deaths have been reported, with Islamabad stating that 26 civilians were killed by the Indian strikes and firing along the border, while New Delhi reported at least 8 fatalities from Pakistan. The attack occurred days after New Delhi accused Islamabad of supporting a deadly assault on the Indian-controlled side of disputed Kashmir. The 2 sides have exchanged nightly gunfire since April 24 along the line of control, according to the Indian Army. Pakistan also announced that it has conducted 2 missile tests. And that's all for the news at 12, May 9, 2025. We'll be back next week for more news updates. And thanks to our news writer, LJ Lurejo and Erica Dumlao. And on the technical side, Chad Bobis. Of course, our Provincial Information Officer, Mary Luduca Castillo. And under the supervision of our Governor, Baby Glenda Ongbungao. I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing.